Good morning, everyone. I was asked to speak with you about my experiences with the programs and I say programs because there are so many dealing with Alzheimer's and the Sanders Brown Center. When I was first approached about being a participant, I was a bit reluctant, and that was based on some history of some cases prior to um, my being approached about it, and I was uncertain. And I did a lot of thinking about it. I considered that our country, our world is changing, good, bad, or indifferent. It's changing. And I wanted to see my people, African American people, receive all the advantages of studies that would improve their lives and their lifestyle, because I remember being a young person. I grew up in Louisiana, but I remember being a young person, seeing some older people in the community that would do some pretty strange things. And I remember hearing adults whispering, saying, "Oh, he's just crazy," or "she's just crazy." And it took me a while to realize that some of them probably had Alzheimer's. They just didn't know what it was. There was nothing and no one to tell them about Alzheimer's, and no one was interested in them at that time anyway. But as I said, when I thought about it and thought about it and thought about it, I made a big mistake. I didn't go to the rock first. I didn't pray first. But when I prayed, my soul was opened up to something that I could see as an advantage for others. And when I was told about the brain, what I don't have the right terminology now, and I believe I'm getting emotional because I feel very strongly about this. When I was told about being able to leave my brain, I thought, oh no. They may tell my kids I'm dead, and I'm not, and my brain is gone. So I had to think through that. I look at a little bit too much television too. But I did think about all those things. And then after I prayed, the Lord led me to where He wanted me to be in this. Because I'd asked Him after my retirement to just tell me what He wanted me to do, and I'd do it until He told me I'd just sleep a little bit longer every day and wait for Him to tell me. And He did. I didn't know it until a few years ago when I retired and became more active at Sanders Brown Center. And seems like every time I went for my annual testing, and I've been in the program 13 years, excuse me. It seemed every time I went, I learned something new that drew me and drew me and drew me. And then a year ago, I think, I was invited to join a group of participants who met and talked about things, and we'll still be meeting. It's an ongoing committee to come up with things as participants that we think that the staff at Sanders Brown can do to help us out more, or for us to help them. It was all to the good, making what's really good a whole lot better. So I started hearing some of the language, and I'm telling you, I'm still trying to figure out that amyloid. But it doesn't seem as foreign to me now, and I can picture it. And I want for every soul, not just African Americans, specifically for African Americans, but I want every soul to experience what Sanders Brown Center is doing. And I didn't know how rare they are until I got more involved and started to hear more about how they have been leading in the field pretty much. We're very blessed here. I was talking with my sister in Louisiana, and she was telling me how wonderful she felt we had it here. because my mother was an Alzheimer's patient. She passed away in 2004, and she went through all of the descriptions of what Alzheimer's patients endure. It was a trial for the family. She got out of the nursing home once, rather, the rehabilitation center that she was in one night, and they couldn't get her back in. Talk about frustrating for them, because I live here and they're in Louisiana. I wasn't there to help, so I didn't see her that often. But the last time I saw her, she looked at me so strange, and I saw the emptiness in her eyes. And it really, really tried my very soul. So I have found a good home at Sanders Brown Center on Aging here at the University of Kentucky in Lexington, Kentucky. And I'm very, very proud of it, sharing that information with people in my home state that I have recently learned had no clue that they have an Alzheimer's patient that they recognize as such these days. And I'm happy to share that information with them and to tell them how much it means to me. I may end up with Alzheimer's, I don't know. But because I'm in the study and I really like how they are doing that, all of the staff has been wonderful. They're so cheerful at the front desk when you come into the building. Parking is arranged for you. They answer your questions, no matter how dumb they may seem. But I asked the lady when she was taking my blood, I said, you're going to leave me a little bit, aren't you? And she said, she just looked at me. But anyway, I have never had anybody handle that so delicately. I did not even feel it. And I dread that when I have to have blood tested. I don't remember her name, but she was very good. She explained to me what was going to happen to my blood, how it would be treated, everything. I could think of nothing but admirable things to say about the experience I had at Sanders Brown. I'm currently, as I said, I've been in the research program since 2013, and I'm in 2 programs, and I have been in them and have been increasing my knowledge all that time. I am encouraging African Americans to be tested because in everything, there's a bit of difference between African American and Caucasians. And whenever it's impacting our health, I want us definitely to be able to take advantage of it, to share that with our families, and to be, somebody tell me when to shut up, please. Keep going. And to tell, okay, thank you. I was just told to be quiet, so I will. But thank you for having me today, and I have been very happy to express my joy at being a participant with Sanders Brown Center on Aging. Join me.
My name is Chartorn Renfro. Chartorn is baby talk. My real name was Charles Corn Renfro. And being from Kentucky, I had my relatives call me Charles Corn, Charles Corn. So as I was learning to talk, I ran that into Chartorn. My parents thought it was cute. And now 74 years later, here I am. So I was in the A4 study at Sanders Brown. I got into it as quickly as I could when I was 65. I was encouraged to get into that study by my wife, who just took my picture. And because I had taken care of my parents. Now, Alzheimer's was not an issue necessarily with them, but I was lower than a snake's belly. So she, first of all, got me into a study that was not with Sanders Brown at UK. That was a study that I got a personal trainer, and I worked out, and we were trying to test the drug metformin to see if it could be repurposed to build muscle in seniors. It didn't work, but I was in that program, but it helped me get moving again. And then when I became aware of the I've been aware of Sanders Brown since it first opened. My mother-in-law was one of the first persons to go into the study, and I'm not exactly sure what it was called, but she had an MRI twice a year, and they were then asking her to give her brain, and when she was dead, and she didn't need it anymore. And she actually contracted Alzheimer's, and so I knew about it. I knew how professional. I knew what a gem Sanders Brown was for this state and the country in research. And so I got into the A4 study. Now, I am probably more of a chicken or worse with needles than you are, because so I thank anybody that tried to stick me during that period of time. I did get better, but I was never good. And my blood pressure showed that every time they'd show me a needle, my blood pressure would go up, and they now put me on blood pressure medicine because of that, and I'm still on it. But I've been through the study now for a little while. But the drug that we were testing on A4 was not effective. And you have to have people in research that are not on the real drug. That's just part of the deal, and it makes sure that the research is good. But Sanders Brown's staff, and I'll say what you did. I mean, they've all been nice to me, and really have, and they really haven't had occasion to be nice to me in some cases, because I've been fighting them. So it's not been a good time. But I was motivated because I've seen people with Alzheimer's. I worked for the Social Security Administration for quite a while, and knowing that what the disease is and that you lose your loved one twice, seen that reaction so many times. It's just a despicable disease. So I was glad to be in that study, very much so. And if in fact any of you are out there that are thinking about being in research and haven't done it before, you might check to see if you are eligible for any of the studies at Sanders Brown, because they really do a wonderful job in leading you. I mean, there's some studies right now. There's not a study I don't think that I'm available for, because I also have brain bleeds, which is great. But so there's not anything right now, but that I'm actively taking a drug for. I think they're checking something else, and they're going to get my brain when I'm no longer using it. I hope it's when I'm no longer using it. But Sanders Brown is absolutely terrific, and thank you for having us up here.
My name is Leon Slatter, and I've been involved with Sanders Brown probably over the last 10 or 12 years. I've been in a lifetime study probably, 8 years. And I had my most recent visit with them about a week or two ago. And anymore, I'm not real happy about those visits, because it's becoming more evident after being diagnosed with mild cognitive impairment, just how much I notice that each time I go. And I don't say that in a negative way. It just is what it is. And I'm not happy about that, but it is. And so I was really encouraged this morning by some of the studies that's coming up, amen, the possibility of getting enrolled in some of those. Let me tell you how I got involved with Sanders Brown. About 10 or 12 years ago, we were invited to participate in Memory Sunday, our church. And we have been doing that ever since. And we've had a couple of people, probably more than a couple of people, get involved in the long-term studies or a particular study. I will tell you this. I have not volunteered to give them my brain yet. And really my excuse is I have not talked to my children about it because you really need to make sure that everybody is aware of that. And so that's going to take place. Somebody told me, said, well, you're not going to need it if afterwards, so you might as well go ahead and do it. But the bottom line is it's been a pleasant experience. Me, like Mrs. Bailey, I definitely would encourage African Americans, anybody. But one of the things we just did a program, No One Left Behind, and had 100 African Americans participate in that program and helping them to understand research anymore is a good thing. And especially from an African American perspective, there have been some things historically that we have known about research activity that really scares African Americans from research. And so we're beginning to, so that was an excellent program. For all practical purposes, I think it's something in some way or another still should be done especially in that particular perspective. But it's been a good program. I uh, the talking about the blood. I used to give blood on a regular basis, and most of the time when I after I had given blood, I looked like I had been in a war zone afterwards because my both of my arms had tape on them where they had attempted to get my blood. Here last week, man, yeah, here the other week, man, one time I didn't, and I did say this. I said I didn't even feel it, so it was just a great experience. And but it's an absolutely great program. I'm very grateful to have the opportunity to participate, and I think I'm in a position to encourage people as much as possible. Because man, I really appreciate the idea of the possibilities of being able to take some medication at some point in some time in the future where they say we can cure that if you got Alzheimer's. It's just outstanding. That's kind of where I am. And I stop there. Okay, I had my 5 minutes. All right.